Okay, well, hello. This is going to be a quick video. I want to show something very interesting to the post SSRI syndrome community and all other related communities. So, this graph shows the doses I took that started the syndrome. I want to show something very interesting. Before I start, I just want to say be very careful if you take again the SSRI. As you will see, I got temporarily better, but then I got a lot worse. So it's like playing Russian roulette. Uh, I suggest not to experiment with it. So I started with a very small dose. I won't go into detail why I took about 2 milligrams, and I won't go into detail. So I took about at about 2 milligrams, and I felt the usual escitalopram effect, which I dislike. I took it for mild anxiety, uh, and I stopped it. I stopped it because of the usual escitalopram effect. I say to myself, I don't want to take it anymore. So I decided to stop it, and days later I started with this: anhedonia, reduced love emotion, and reduced sexual attraction. I have to mention that this drug I took it for 2 years and several other times, and this never happened. This was completely new. Uh, and it started happening after stopping this single dose. So imagine just a single small dose of escitalopram. The minimum therapeutic dose, it's 10 milligrams. That's what psychiatrists usually say. And I took a very small dose, and this happened. Um, so I won't go into detail in all the story, but I decided to take it again on February 4, 2024. Um, so I decided to take it again, and again I felt the usual escitalopram effect, which I disliked, and my symptoms significantly improved. So that's, I think, very interesting, because when I stopped, I got the symptoms, and I got them for 4 weeks until I took it again. So I think that that could tell us that maybe this isn't permanent. And I'm going to show you the other experiments, and you'll see something very interesting also. So yeah, so I made this experiment. I won't go into detail why I took exactly these doses and why I did that. And when I stopped, I again had these symptoms. So this is like a mild form of post SSRI syndrome, or PSSD. I only had these symptoms. It was a mild anhedonia, a reduced love emotion, and reduced sexual attraction. uh, Mild. And I decided to make another experiment on March 2024, and I took 5 milligrams, and again my symptoms significantly improved. I felt the usual escitalopram effect. I don't know what hypothesis you guys have, but why why is that when I took it again, my symptoms kind of went away, and when the med got out of my blood, my symptoms returned. Uh, you could argue it's withdrawal or something like that, but this only started after one very small dose. So that's the very interesting thing. And in at about 1 week later, I took a very very tiny bit. This is visually estimated, like I estimated uh, like, I don't know, 20% of 1 milligram, very small. Oh, well, I skipped a part. After this experiment, these 2 doses I took, I started with a lot of symptoms. Uh, and again, it happened after the med got out of my body. I started with all these symptoms. Uh, so I should have stopped here, but I decided to experiment again. And in my last experiment, as expected, my symptoms improved significantly, and I again felt the usual escitalopram effect. And I made these variations of doses. I won't go into detail why. Just I'm trying to keep this short. Also, I won't go into detail in all the symptoms, but uh, I in the last dose I took, like 20 minutes later after this dose, here I put hours after the last dose, but in reality it was minutes where I started feeling very different, and hours later I will start realizing many new symptoms. But yeah, but it was minutes later when I felt the big change. I felt the big change, and in the following hours, I will start discovering new symptoms. Uh, and that this time it wasn't after I stopped the med. It was minutes later after I took this dose, and I started with all the symptoms you can see here. Uh, um, and yeah, so this uh, I just wanted to show very quickly uh, this graph. I think it is very interesting because, as you can see, for some reason when I took the SSRI again in small doses, my symptoms improved, and for some reason in this last dose I got a lot worse after taking it. So yeah, that is all. I'm sorry for not explaining very well, but it's not easy to explain when you have a lot of brain fog and uh, you can barely imagine. So thank you.